Hi, I'm Nicole, and welcome to this episode of the Nicole Stitches podcast. I am a left-handed crocheter, knitter, and general crafter coming to you from Northern Virginia, where I work and live with my husband and our cats, Webster and Birdie. You can keep up with me on Instagram at NicoleSPDesigns, on Pinterest at NSPDesigns, and in my shop, nspdesigns.com, where I make and sell handmade project bags, notions pouches, and other fiber accessories, as well as original crochet patterns. If you are new, I hope that you enjoy it here. Thank you so much for stopping in, and I hope you decide to stay. And if you're a return viewer, thank you for coming back. This is the 100th episode of the Nicole Stitches podcast, which is just kind of bonkers, I think. Thank you so much for sticking with me. If you've been here for a long time, if you've been here the whole time, wow, thank you. You know, I'm gonna keep going. So it has been a couple of weeks since I posted a video that was not super intentional. I have kind of been, over the past few months, I had been posting every week for a really long time. Over the past few months, it's kind of gone to an every other week schedule just based on life schedules and honestly mental capacity to do it and everything. You know, the times that we're in are a lot and it is what it is. But I am here this week for the 100th episode, and we're gonna jump into things. So I do have a finished object to share with you. I am not wearing it today. It is my Black Lives Matter t-shirt. That is just the damn truth. It was, I think, a new start last time I recorded. It's been a few weeks. I have photos for you, so I will put some in here. I did take finished object photos. This is the Bravura sweater by Thread and Ladle. This is something that was on my queue for quite a while that I really wanted to make. It was on my Make 9 plans for the year, and it's done. So this is a project that was pretty quick for me because it was really fun for me to make. It was something that I had really wanted to make for quite a while, and I just really enjoyed it. I love sweater knitting, as you know, if you've been here a bit, you know that I love sweater knitting. It's like my main thing that I like to make. And bigger weight sweaters like DK weight and worsted and larger tend to go pretty fast. This is a DK weight sweater, and I really liked the yarn that I was using, the color scheme. It was just really fun and enjoyable. So I used for this Stress Knits yarn, which is an indie dyed yarn, and I made this in Grubby, which is the main body color, and the colorwork colors that I used were Dahlia, Palm Lines, Sunflower, Perfectly Adequate, Eloise, Dried Lavender, and Rust Belt. And so I used all of those, and I really love this sweater. It blocked beautifully. It really blocked nicely. It loosened up a little bit, it softened up a little bit, and it just feels really comfortable to wear. I think that I'm going to try and find some excuses to wear it as the weather gets colder, as much as I can, because I just really love it. And it was really lovely to make. Like I mentioned when I first showed the project, I normally would not be able to afford a colorwork sweater project in hand-dyed yarn, because especially with the number of colors that I used for this one, you use 8 colors. Obviously you can use fewer colors if you want to, but there are 8 colors in the pattern as written. Normally I would not be able to afford to do that, but Stacy had introduced to her shop halves for, I think it's for her DK and worsted bases, which are half skeins. So they are half as much yarn and half the price, and that made it a lot more affordable to me to be able to do this project in hand-dyed yarn. I had really liked Stress Knits colors for a long time and wanted to give her yarn a try. I didn't have any, and so I treated myself to the colors for the sweater. And honestly, even with the half skeins that I got, I have a lot of yarn left for those. So that's really nice because it means that I can use those colors again for future projects, which is, I'm excited about that because I really like the way these colors work together. And I'm really happy that I have them to use a bit more. And so that's my Bravura sweater. I really love it and I'm excited about it. I'm really happy that it's done. It was a nice, quick, fun project for me. It had been a little bit since I did colorwork, so that was nice because I think colorwork, aside from sweaters, colorwork sweaters are definitely my jam. I love them so much. They're so fun. And so that project is finished. And with that said, I have my next sweater project on the needles. It is also a colorful project with fun yarn. Not color work, but colorful. It is with yarn that is indie dyed but had been in my stash for a really long time. I got it about a year ago and I've been saving it for the right sweater project that would show it off, basically. So I will show you that now. I have a decent amount of stuff to show you. This is the same project bag that I used for my Bravura sweater. I just switched out the yarn. I just really enjoy using this bag because I love the skein pattern, and I've added some pins to it. My Celeste and Blathers pins, they're characters from Animal Crossing. If you play the game, you obviously know that, but if you don't, that's who they are. And this is a sweater. This is a second time knit for me. When I made this sweater the first time, I said that I was definitely gonna make it again in the future because it's just a great sweater to have in your rotation. It's a great sweater pattern. It would make a nice, I think, like a beginner first sweater, or like second or third sweater when you have yourself kind of underway, or if you want to learn, if you're confident. And I really liked it. So technically making this sweater twice was not on my make 9 for the year. I have kind of branched away from what I had planned on for the year, but like, you know, that happens, it's fine. As long as I think, you know, as long as I still hit my goal of like making at least 9 sweaters for the year, and making things that are making me happy and that I want to have in my closet, and, you know, they're gonna make me happy, and it's gonna make me enjoy my knitting and give me some light, frankly, and joy. That's what matters to me more than did I knit these exact ones that I planned on. But that said, this pattern was on my make 9 and I did make it once already. And like I said, I just enjoyed it so much and thought it was such a good pattern that I said I would make it again, and here we are. So this is the Cozy Classic Raglan by Jessie Maed, and Jessie actually recently released the Cozy Classic Light, which is a light version of this same pattern. I think the light version is written for a fingering weight gauge, and this is written for DK weight gauge. So it's written with the idea that you would hold a strand of fingering weight and a strand of lace weight together, or 2 strands of fingering or 1 strand of DK. So that's like kind of the gauge that it's written for. Whereas I think the Cozy Classic Light is just written for a fingering weight gauge to begin with. But like I said, I knit this once already earlier this year. I knit the first one in La Bien-Aimée yarn, which I got on my honeymoon. It was souvenir yarn, so that was also very special to me. And I held it together with a strand of lace weight yarn, the same yarn that I used to knit my wedding shawl. So it was like a whole thing. I really enjoyed it. I really liked the way that that sweater turned out. I liked the way it fit. And so I decided that when I really wanted to knit with this yarn now, because it is kind of a Halloween colorway. It is something that I got in around this time of year last year, and I've been wanting to work with it so much because it's so fun. And so I just decided, you know, that the Cozy Classic was like a perfect pattern for this yarn, because this yarn kind of does the work for me. You'll see. It is its own thing. It doesn't need to be like in a design like with cables or lace or whatever. It is the thing. And so I wanted a nice simple sweater pattern that would show it off in that way. So this is it. This is the Cozy Classic Raglan by Jessie Maed. This is the original one. And I am knitting this in Plank and Stella yarn in the colorway on her Slub base in the colorway the Belcher family. So here is the sweater. I'll give you a nice close-up shot so you can kind of see what I mean when I say that the yarn is doing all of the work. The Slub base has these bumps in it, these little puffs, and I knit some on my hand, it's fine. And as you can see, it's a really colorful colorway. There's all kinds of shades of color in here. There's gray, blue, pink, and purple. There's orange, and it's just like, it's doing the work. The yarn is doing the work. So I didn't want to use this with anything that had a lot of lace work in it or needed to show off a particular stitch pattern or design. I just wanted a sweater that was going to show off the yarn as it is. So the colorway name, the Belcher family, is a reference to the TV show Bob's Burgers. I'm sure many of you watching know that, but And this is inspired by the Belcher family, the main family from the show, and they're a Halloween episode. They've done a number of Halloween episodes, but this was, I believe, inspired by a particular one. And as soon as I saw this last year, I just absolutely loved it. Plankett Stella's dyer is Melissa, I think her name is. I'm pretty sure it's Melissa. She showed a picture of the colorway on this base last fall, and I knew immediately that I wanted a sweater in it. And so I grabbed a little sweater quantity, and I've just had it, and I've been holding it, like I said, waiting for the right pattern that would show it off the way I want it to. And so this is it. So the Cozy Classic Raglan calls for you to do a tubular cast on and ribbing for the neckline. And I did not do that last time. I just did a regular neckline, and I didn't do it this time either because, again, with this base, with the slubs in the yarn, you can see one here, it's like a strand of fingering weight yarn and then a slub will appear. I just didn't want to, I've never done a tubular cast on, and I just didn't want to futz around with it with this yarn. I made excuses last time too. I didn't want to futz around with it. I just really like, it's one of those things that I'd like to learn eventually. I will get to it. I just am not, I just don't have the, it's just not in me right now. So I just did a regular cast on and knit the neck ribbing, and then am now working on the body. So you knit this top down raglan in the round, and you do these raglan increases here. You're doing lifted increases, which are an increase that I hadn't ever done before, and I learned them the first time I did the Cozy Classic. They do make a really pretty effect. I think they were also used on the Rizzo, which I just knit, which is by Poison Girls. I'm pretty sure that that's, because I just did them, so it's on the Rizzo. And they're just so pretty, and I am loving this sweater so much. So I'm knitting it in, like I said, the Belcher family. Here's the cake that I'm using right now. You can see all the little slubs and bumps. And then I'm holding this together because the slub base is a fingering weight base. I'm holding this together with a strand of lace weight yarn that I dyed myself. This is a bare base that I bought from KnitPicks. It's their Shadow lace weight base. Like I said, you get it bare. I don't remember what the content is. I think it's just 100% wool. And I dyed this myself. I wanted it to be a color that would kind of blend in with I wanted it to be a color that would blend in with this nicely. And if you look here, there's a section, you can kind of see it here. The colorway does get into this kind of like bluish, grayish shade, and it looks close enough. It looks similar there. So I didn't want to do a bright lace color that would like pull away from this. I wanted it to be something that would blend in nicely and would look like it goes and stuff. So I mixed myself a little concoction of, I used Rit dye. I dye my own yarn for things every once in a while, just for my own fun. I do it in a plastic bucket in the tub, very informal and probably, quite frankly, bad and wrong, but it gets the job done. And I do it with Rit dye, nothing elaborate, nothing fancy. I use hot water from the drain, vinegar from my cabinet, and Rit dye, and that's what I do. I mixed together some gray and blue Rit dye, don't remember which specific colors, and I didn't look at like what ratio I did. I think I did a mostly gray and then a splash of blue, and I came up with this color. So I had 3 skeins of the lace weight yarn is what I acquired. I dyed all of them together so that they would all have, you know, it would be the same dye lot. They would all kind of have this same exact mix of blue and gray applied to them. Oddly, one skein picked up a lot more blue than the other 2, so it doesn't really match them. But the other 2 did come out looking pretty similar. Here's the one I have attached right now, and here's the other one. These 2 ended up looking pretty much quite similar. This one's a little bluer than this one, but I don't really care. And then the other one is like much bluer. So I kind of, you know, I put that one aside and I'm not going to use it. The nice thing about lace weight is that you get a ton of yardage in each skein. So I'm only thinking that I will need these 2 for this project anyway, and it doesn't really matter that the 3rd didn't come out quite right. And, you know, I'll use it for something else. It's not a big deal. Now I just have some grayish blue lace weight yarn in my stash. Whatever. And if I need to dye over it, I'll just dye over it. So I am using, these are the yarns that I'm holding together for this project. As I said, when I knit the Cozy Classic before with my La Bien-Aimée yarn, I used the colorway Rose Quartz, and I did helical knitting with that project to alternate skeins, because hand-dyed skeins, even if they're dyed together in the same lot, can come out looking different. And so I used helical knitting that time to blend them together so that they would kind of look the same, especially since, if I remember right, as I got on, I realized that one of those, I got 3 skeins of Rose Quartz, and one of those skeins looked much more different than the other 2. So using helical knitting for them and blending them together ended up being pretty important because of that. For this one, because this yarn has so much complexity to it as it is, I'm not bothering with helical knitting. I don't think that I would enjoy messing around with dropping and picking up the yarn with this. You know, I'm liking knitting with this. I'm loving the sweater, like the way it feels. It's so squishy, but it is a little bit, just a little bit of a process to work with when you get to the bumps and the way that the yarn is kind of, it's not like a straight strand. It's got like a crinkle to it. So I just didn't feel like messing around with picking up and dropping off and managing the cakes and stuff. I just decided this yarn has so much to it as it is. I don't think it will be that noticeable when I move from one skein to another. I really don't. And I just don't care to have to worry about the management of attaching the different things, different cakes to it right now. So I am just knitting 1 cake of Belcher family and 1 cake of the lace weight yarn at a time, and I'm just gonna go until they run out, and then I'm gonna attach the next one, and I'm just fine with that. So here's my progress. I have gotten, you know, I've gotten myself underway. I am not sure where I am in terms of getting ready to separate the sleeves. I might be getting kind of close. I think I still have a little bit to go. We'll see. So this is how it will look here. These are the shoulders, and this is the front. I really like this. I'm really excited about it. Like I said, the fabric that this yarn makes is so squishy and nice, and I just can't wait. I can't wait to have it done so I can wear it. I think I'm gonna really like having this in my collection of sweaters. So that is this project. Like I said, didn't plan to knit the Cozy Classic twice this year, but I knew that I did want to reknit it. I loved it the first time, and I think it's a great pattern. I think it's a great pattern, period. But especially if you have some kind of yarn that you really want to show off, and you just want the sweater to show off that yarn because it's really colorful, or it's not very colorful, but you really like whatever color it is, and you know, you don't want to do something like color work or cables or some kind of stitch pattern. That is a really great design, and that has taken up, this won't surprise you, that has taken up most of my time. This is the Leventry by Sarah Jordan. This is a shawl, a triangular shawl, and I am knitting this also in Plank and Stella. We've got vintage lingerie and love on top. This vintage lingerie cake is a little bit of a mess right now. I have to do some work to get it untangled. And here is the shawl, and this progress keeper here, which is from Fennel and Fiber, one of my favorite stitch marker makers. She's an absolute gem. And this is the progress I've made since the last time I showed you. I did make sure that when I picked this up to move my marker from the last time I recorded, and this is indeed the amount of progress I've made since last I showed you. So here we are. I am getting close to the point where this will have a lace edge that will be done in this color, Love on Top. I am getting close to that point. I only have a little bit more to go of this stripe repeat, and then it will be time for the lace border. I have picked this up again just as an alternate project to my sweater. I'm kind of, what's it called? Taking turns, doing one or the other. I keep them both. I keep my works in progress in a little bin by my end of the couch, and I keep all of my project bags in there with projects that I'm working on, or projects that I'm not working on, but they're in there anyway to make me feel guilty. And I just kind of reach down, and whichever one I grab is the one that I work on. So, and I want to get this done. I'm really excited about it. We're getting into the weather where I might want a scarf. I don't wear my shawls like a shawl usually. I wear them the backwards way, where you do it like this. The point is here. I'm getting to the point where I might want a shawl to wear in that way, theoretically, were I ever to leave my apartment again. And so, you know, I decided that I really wanted to dedicate myself to getting this done. For that reason, and because there are other shawl projects that I'd like to get on the needles, other projects in general, gifts and things, and I want to get this done. I don't like having too many projects going on, especially if they've been hanging out for a long time and I know that I could have them done by now, if I just did them. So that is that one. And now I have some crochet to show you. Yeah, this is what's happening. So this is a blanket pattern called Choo Choo by someone. I think Susan Lowman is the designer's name. This is from a book of crochet blanket patterns that I have had for a long time. I don't remember what the book is called. I talked about it better. I talked about it more with more information in my last episode. And I am knitting this not the way that you're supposed to. So you're supposed to knit this blanket in your main color, your base back, hello? Okay. You're supposed to knit this in your base background color, or not knit this. You're supposed to crochet this in your base color, this background, the entire blanket, so just cream, and then you cross stitch on the design of a train and tracks. It's a train and then some railroad tracks and then the train again facing the other way. And then you make little train toys that go with it that match the trains on the blanket. It's very cute set. You can find pictures online, or if you find the book, you know, and I showed a picture in my last episode. So, but I decided that I did not want to do that way. I did not think that I would ever, frankly, get this done if my first step was a huge plain white single crochet blanket. So I decided to do this with crochet intarsia and just attach the various colors as I go along and pick up and drop as needed and carry as needed. And so, you know, that means that I have currently this level of yarn chaos going on, but I'm liking it so far. I do think it's working out. Here you can see my progress. I didn't mark with a stitch marker where I was last I showed you, but I had like just started the wheels. And now you can see the trains are kind of starting to form. So, you know, I've done a couple things not quite right on this and figured them out too late, but that's fine because with crochet, in my opinion, crochet mistakes are much easier to fix or cover up than knitting mistakes. And so I just, you know, if I had made a major mistake, I would have ripped out and started over. I don't think anything that I did wrong has been like major, but there are things that I will want to address later, like my border over here is wrong. There should be more space like this, but I'm just going to remedy that by making sure that when I do the other train, so when I do the other end of the blanket, this will be reversed. The red car will be on this end and the blue car will be on this end. I'm gonna make sure that the blue car is equally close to the edges down here, and then I'm probably going to put a border around it that kind of helps cover up that little oopsie. The pattern doesn't call for any kind of elaborate border, but I'm gonna put one on because I made a mistake. And that is one of the creative ways that I cover up my crochet mistakes. A nice border. So that is, you know, that's my progress on this. I'm making this in KnitPicks Mighty Stitch Worsted, which is an acrylic blend. It is mostly acrylic, a little bit of superwash yarn. This is for my friends who had their baby in June, and it is a Christmas gift for him. And the colors I'm using are, I think, cream, and then black. The blue color, I'll pull out the cake so you can see it more easily. This color is the blue I'm using. This is Gulfstream. And then I'm using Sunflower, Serrano, and Macaw. And, you know, this is a predicament, but I'm going to take care of it. Next time I pull this project out, I will take care of it. If I had kind of thought ahead, I would have done probably what I do when I make a C2C blanket, which is I get the jumbo clothespins that you can grab in a pack of, I think it's a pack of 6, it might be a pack of 12. You can get them from Dollar Tree. I think you can find them on Amazon, but they're just big plastic clothespins, and you can wind your yarn around them and clip them to the project. So you don't do the whole skein on one clip. You kind of pre-fill them in advance like bobbins, and you take one, you clip it on and you use it up, and then you clip on the next, and it just makes that situation not happen because your yarn is wound, hi bird, and clipped, and it's right there and it can't get tangled or fall off or whatever. I didn't do that. It's fine. So that is that project. And then here is the last work in progress that I have to show you. This is a new start. This is a designer that I recently finished a project from. It's another crochet project, and it is for my niece. This is Roco, I think the name is, The Raccoon by Lalyland. Lalyland designs crochet amigurumi patterns. I recently made Dirk the Dragon, and now I am making Roco the Raccoon. This is for my niece, like I said. I gave them Dirk recently, and Lydia loves him. Seeing her like hold him and grab onto him is very cute. And I have a few of the other patterns that are of the same style where it's like a little person in the suit of the animal. They're very cute. And so I've decided to kind of make Dirk some friends and give them to Lydia as I finish them, and I just thought that that would be something nice and fun. So I'm using the same yarn for Roco as I did for Dirk, which is Pattons Grace. It is a 100% mercerized cotton. Still haven't looked up what that means. And I am using the colors Natural for this is going to be the head, Natural and Black for the suit of the raccoon. And then in here I also have Snow, that's the white. I have Clay, which is this grayish color. And I think this is just called Navy. Yep, Navy. So this will eventually be a little child in a raccoon suit is the concept. I've probably put in a picture here for you to see by now. And I'm really liking it. Like I said, like with Dirk, the pattern itself looks very detailed and like there's a lot of intricacy to it, but it's actually really simple to work through. The instructions are very clear. You go bit by bit and there are little diagrams and photos and things to help you. And it's actually much simpler to do than it seems, and it's very fun and very easy. So I'm excited to have another one underway. I've been wanting to get another one made, but the thing about is that I had decided that I liked making this particular project in Pattons Grace a lot. I like when I'm gifting things to other people for their children, I like to make them in things that are easy to care for. I like to use acrylic yarns or cotton yarns, things that are easy to, you know, they don't have to worry about throwing it in the washing machine and then the dryer if it gets dirty or whatever. They don't have to care for it, especially because it's alpaca or it's non-superwash wool. I like to give them things that are easy to take care of so they don't have to feel bad if their kid gets it dirty with dirt or with bodily fluids. So I liked the idea of making all of them in this same yarn if I could. But Pattons Grace, I have found, has been a little bit hard to come by in the range of colors that I was looking for to do all the different characters. So I've been kind of waiting until I could get my hands on a good amount of colors to make enough of them. So recently, some of the colors that I was waiting on were restocked online on michaels.com to be shipped to home because I didn't want to have to go in the store unless I really had to. And so I grabbed those. I did have to get quantities of 6 for some of them, but I figure they were like, I had to get a quantity of 6 for the black and the white and the beige and natural colors. I figure I'm going to use those for multiples of these patterns. So Birdie wants attention. So it made sense for me to keep that amount on hand, so I didn't feel so bad about grabbing so much of it at once. And I'm kind of going to keep all of them kind of in the same place so that they're always together and I can just pull whatever colors I need for whatever one that I'm making. And then I did need to kind of explore and branch out to find some of the more colorful ones that were sold out with Michaels. So I was able to do that. Fortunately, to make Roco the Raccoon, I didn't really need bright colors. I needed black, gray, and you know, the white colors, but there's a seahorse that I want to make, and there's a fly and a fox, and you know, so I found them on yarnspirations.com and I have those coming. So, and you know, if I end up wanting to make another one that I don't have any color available to me for of Pattons Grace, I will cross that bridge when I get there, but that was just something that I thought would be, and I like the idea of them all matching because they're all made of like the same base material, you know? So I was just waiting to get my hands on more of the right colors of yarn to start one, and now I have. And I think that that is everything, all the progress that I have to share with you in this episode. I do want to thank you again for sticking with me for 100 episodes. If you've been here a long time, I really, really appreciate it. You know, sometimes the thing that makes me make myself record another video is the fact that I know that people do enjoy seeing them, and people will check in on me from time to time if I haven't posted to ask if all is well and everything. And you know, that's what makes me post again, is that people do appreciate it and care. So that's why I'm here. So thank you so much. My shop update, my spooky shop update, which I previewed in my last video, went really, really well. It was like my most successful shop update, so that was really good for my heart. I do have a few things left in the spooky update, and there are some things that are going to be coming back into the shop sneakily. So that'll be fun. And not everything, but a couple things that I was able to find, and you know, as I'm able to get them back in the shop, I will. So if you missed something, keep an eye out, and don't be afraid to like reach out and ask me if you can get a custom of something, because much of what I have put in the shop this time around is stuff that I can get again. So if there was something that you missed and you do really want it, send me an email, contact me from my website, and we'll see what I can do. Other than that, that's pretty much it. So thank you so much for watching again, like I said, and sticking with me if you've been here. I hope you decide to stay. Give me a subscribe if you haven't already. That way you'll know every time I post a new video. Leave the video a like if you liked it, and a comment. Let me know what you thought about anything, if you have any questions or anything. I hope that you please will check your voter registration status if you live in the US. Please verify that you are registered. Deadlines for some states are really coming up, and it has literally never been more important that you vote. Make sure you know where, how, and when you can vote. Make sure you know what your requirements and rights are. Don't let them steal your vote with misinformation or obstruction. Don't let it happen. I've been trying to periodically share accurate voting information wherever I can, so if you want some updates from me on that, you can keep up with me on Instagram. That is by far where I'm the most active, and it's where I have been sharing resources and information about this stuff. You can also check out a YouTube channel called How to Vote in Every State, which has videos on how to vote in every state. I linked it in my last video description. I will link it again here. Wear a mask. I hope you have a great week. Get lots of crafting done, and I will see you next time. Bye!